Hi there, Liz Weisnick here, registered dietitian. I'm sharing with you a short video on a meal prep strategy to help out the future you. So this is all about putting the nutrition recommendations into use with effective meal planning and preparation. Now, I know that meal prep can really conjure up some intimidating images like those pictured here. Or you might think about hours spent in the kitchen chopping and cooking, and then putting your perfectly portioned food into clear containers. But it doesn't have to be like that. And here I'm expressing a 4-step strategy that can be efficient and effective, but it doesn't have to look like this. This works well, but it might not be sustainable week after week. Here are some benefits outlined on meal planning and preparation. So essentially, the big benefit is that you spend some time up front in your week to save time and decision making or brain energy or cognitive load later. It also means that when you plan out your meals, you're more likely to then have balanced meals throughout your week. You're more likely to think up a protein, a complex carbohydrate, and some vegetables for your meals rather than last minute decisions that tend to be less supportive or last minute takeout orders. Meal planning and prepping is really where the rubber hits the road as far as putting nutrition recommendations for your health goals into practice. Cooking the majority of your meals at home is extremely beneficial for your health, and it gives you that sense of ownership over your week ahead. What I'm presenting here is a very systematic way of looking at meal planning. It's simple and it's going to become habitual, so that's just part of what you do week after week versus an additional obligation or chore. And I would argue that as a nutrition professional, effective meal planning and some preparation is going to be the most impactful for your overall health. So step 1, plan your menu for the following week. So about 1 to 2 days before you grocery shop, spend 15 to 30 minutes thinking about your meals for the following week. You might use a tool like this where it lays out the days of the week and the meals required. So breakfast, lunch, snacks, and dinners. Now, it might be overwhelming to plan every single meal for your following week. So keep it simple and just focus on planning your dinners for the following week. Make breakfast, lunches, and snacks more habitual meals by rotating between 2 to 3 of your go-to favorites. You and I will determine those meals together so that you know that they're supportive and healthy and just part of your meal repertoire. You can enjoy variety and cuisine exploration with the dinners that you'll plan. So at least planning out your dinners instead of every single meal. Here's a couple things to keep in mind as you make your dinner menu. Give yourself at least one no cooking night. That means that you can order in or do some takeout or assign the cooking responsibilities to somebody else. It's not realistic to cook every single night, and we can get burned out easily. So give yourself one no cooking night. Also, save time or instances where you'll have to cook by choosing bulk-friendly meals. So I think of one pan meals or casseroles, things that are going to last you multiple nights. When you're making your menu, start with your protein and aim for variety there. So perhaps you follow this simple template by choosing 2 meals that are meat-based, 2 meals that are fish-based, 1 to 2 meals that are bean or tofu-based, so that you get a variety of protein, at least within your dinners. Once you start with your protein, recommend rounding out your meals with a complex carbohydrate or starch and plenty of vegetables. So this is what a finished weekly menu might look like. You'll see shorthand here, B1 or L1, S1, and to denoting some of those go-to or habitual meals that you might just rotate through over your week. But dinner is really what you're going to plan out. And you'll notice here that there's one planned no cooking night on Friday and two bulk meals. So the Mediterranean chicken bowl is going to last Wednesday night and Thursday night. And the salmon cakes are going to last Saturday and Sunday, which means over your 7-day week, you're only cooking about 4 times. Seems more manageable when you write out your weekly menu as opposed to just thinking about it and then going grocery shopping. So that's step 1, planning your dinners for the week ahead. Step 2, use your menu to create your grocery list at the same time, and then use that to go grocery shopping 1 time per week. So most households do well with grocery shopping at least 1 time a week to be sure that you're replenishing fresh items. Whenever you're making your menu, you can go ahead and make the grocery list at the same time. I like to use the app AnyList because it's a very easy digital app that you can add your grocery list items to and also import recipes from the World Wide Web so that you can get ingredients as you need for the recipes you choose. I also like that you can share the list among members of your household so that you can all contribute to the grocery list over the week and as you might run out of things. Remember when you're making your list to also add those items that complete your habitual meals. So that might not be part of your dinner menu, but your go-to meals. Those need to make it on the list as well. So I say aim to shop 1 time per week if possible. That's going to be your most efficient strategy, to just do one big shopping trip for your meals and your menu for the week ahead, as opposed to multiple trips. If possible, designate your shopping time for between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. on weekdays during the times that the grocery store is least crowded. Also, when you're shopping, take a look at that produce section and choose a variety of pre-cut items. Pre-cut vegetables, pre-washed greens, and pre-cut fruit can really save you a lot of time later. So spend some time looking at the options available at your local grocery store. And of course, read those food labels, just as we'll discuss as one of our weekly topics in our one-on-one sessions. Here's some pictures of those pre-cut or pre-prepared fresh items that you can find at most grocery stores. You'll see pre-cut vegetables, spiralized vegetables, pre-washed greens, pre-cut fruit. The benefit here is that you're more likely to use the item when it's pre-cut or prepared in a way that you'll either eat or cook, which leads to less waste later. Yes, these items might be more expensive, but if it saves you time, I argue that it's worth it. Finally, step number 3 is what I refer to as immediate prep. And that means that this is going to happen right when you get home from grocery shopping. So get into it, right? Put on some music or a podcast that you love, involve the kids if it's appropriate, and go ahead and do some immediate prep once you get home. Spend just 1 hour maximum. It's not realistic to spend a ton of time right after you've been grocery shopping, but at least spend about 30 to 60 minutes. You'll get more efficient with your food prepping as time goes on. So what should you designate this time for? Most importantly, designate this time for prepping your fresh items, so your vegetables for the week. If you didn't get all pre-cut or pre-prepped vegetables, make sure that you prep your vegetables during this time. So pay attention to this first point. Vegetables should be stored in the manner that you will cook or eat them, because it means it's going to end up on your plate and there's less waste at the end of the week. If possible, store all your pre-cut fresh items in clear containers or bags so that you can easily see it when you open the refrigerator. So if all your vegetables are pre-prepped, go ahead and spend this time making any sauces, marinades, or dressings that are found in your weekly menu. You can also use this time, if it permits, to cook your potatoes, grains, and starches in bulk to then cool down and use later. And you'll learn that little nutrition tip as we meet in our one-on-one sessions. What's the benefit of cooking your starches ahead of time and cooling them down? So after that, decide, once all of your fresh items are made and maybe you did your grains and your starches or your dressings and marinades, decide if optional, if further preparation would be beneficial for you. So perhaps it's not even the same day. Maybe you designate an hour the next day to some of this further food preparation. Just simply ask yourself, will more prep now help me later? I know that my work week tends to be crazy and filled. So if I have some time on the weekend to designate to meal prep, that's going to help me out later on and it's worth it. But you decide week after week what's worth it and what's not. For example, during this additional prep time, maybe you shred a rotisserie chicken that you picked up for really easy protein to add to meals, or decide to make one of your bulk meals so that you don't have to make it later in the week. And maybe you even portion out your snacks so that they're easily accessible during your workday. So to recap, the 4 steps for an effective, efficient, and manageable meal planning strategy is at some point over your week, plan out your menu, your dinner menu for the following week, and make your grocery list at the same time. Then go grocery shopping 1 time per week to get everything you need for the following week. And try to go at a time that's less busy if possible. Tip number 3 is once you get back from grocery shopping, do some immediate prep, especially those fresh items, so that they are ready to be cooked or eaten. And finally, week after week, this might change, but decide if you want to devote some more time to food prep as desired by making a meal or portioning out things as would be helpful for you later. All of this is to save you time later so that you don't have to continually worry what's for dinner. You already know, you're already prepared, and you already have the items ready to go. This is one of my favorite quotes here, that preparation can take you farther than motivation. And that's very true. When we're well prepared and we have everything that we need, the resources available to us, that's going to take us farther than any form of willpower or motivation. So I hope that this meal planning video and strategy is helpful for you, and we can certainly continue this conversation in our one-on-one sessions. Thank you.